video, I'm going to show you how to create an Apple Siri shortcut that has access to OpenAI's GPT-Vision model. So you'll be able to take photos from your phone and send it to OpenAI GPT-Vision model and ask it all different kinds of questions like describe the image or whatever. So let's get started. On a Mac, or even you could do this on your iPhone, open up the shortcut app and click here to create a new shortcut. So let's create new shortcut. You'll see a window like this. You can give your shortcut a name, so I'm going to call it GPT-Vision tutorial, and we're going to start here. So obviously, as we're dealing with images, we need to start with an image. For that, you could either choose to upload an image from your library, or you can just take an image. So I think I'll go take a photo or take an image with the camera. So search for camera, and there's take photo action. You can add that. But before we can proceed, we need to encode this image. So search for encode, and there's this base64 encode. Drag that down. So now it has encoded this image. It will encode the image once the user runs this shortcut. We also need to create some sort of a string or a text. So I'm gonna write text here, text, and bring that here. In the text, I want you to write this. I'm gonna paste it here. So you're gonna write data colon image slash JPEG semicolon base64 and then comma. Don't forget the comma, and then no more space or anything else. And then right click, insert variable, and click base64 encoded. And I want to save this as a variable, so search for variable and click and drag set variable, and this is set to this, but let's give it a name. I'm gonna give it encoded URL. So this variable is called encoded URL, and it equals this. Other thing we need is the prompt that we're gonna send to the model. So for that, I need another text field, and I'm gonna describe what I want from the model. So I'm just gonna say, can you please describe this image? And let's set this also to a variable. So search for variable, set variable, and this one's going to be called prompt. Okay, now we have this. We need to construct some sort of a payload that we would send to OpenAI. And in OpenAI's documentation, there's an example in code which I'm going to bring. So this is a Python code, but we're going to convert this to shortcuts. But if we look at this, basically there's a payload or a dictionary that is sent to OpenAI. So first things first, we need to create this payload. For that, you would search for dictionary. You add this here. So let's see. This dictionary or payload has 3 key values, and we're gonna add those here. So the first one is model, and the value is GPT-4 Vision preview. Next is messages, but I'm gonna come back to it in a second. I'm gonna write max tokens first, and make sure it's a number, and we're gonna set it to 200, for example. And then the last one is messages. If you look at messages itself is a list. So we need to choose the type as an array or a list, which is the same thing. And then click on messages and open this arrow here and click on add. It would add the first item, and we only have one item, which is of type dictionary itself. So it's like a nested dictionary, and this dictionary has 2 key value pairs. It's only 2. So if you can see, if I close that, it's only this 2. So let's add this one first. So click on item 1, click on the arrow, and then click on add. Right, for this one is role, and the value is user. And then let's add another one. It's content, but the type is an array or a list. And inside this array, again, click on this arrow here, click on add. We're gonna add the first item. Let's see what's the first item here. The first item is this, the second item is this. So we are constructing this bit here now. So item 1 is actually a dictionary, and then if we add to this dictionary a key of type is text, and the value is also text. Make sure it's just text, not the text variable. So type text, and then the next one is text for key, type is also text, and the value is actually our prompt, the prompt variable. So make sure you select prompt, which is the variable. It would have this icon here. So that's item 1. Let's add another item. So click back on content and make sure it's open. Click on add. It will add the second item. We are building this bit here now. So item 2 is a dictionary. It's already selected for us. Now let's add this key. So I select on item 2, make sure it's open, click on add, and then type is text, and the text value is image URL, and then the next one is image URL, and the type here is again another dictionary, so choose that, and then open this one again, click on add, and the key would be URL, and the value here would be actually the encoded URL variable. So that's it for the payload. Let's save this payload as a variable. So I'm going to search for variable, set variable, and I'm going to call it payload. And now next step is to actually send this API request or send this payload to this endpoint as an API request. For that, we can call the action get contents of URL. So this one, drag that down. So we want the contents of URL, and what URL should we use? It should be http://api.openai.com/v1/chat/completions. And then click on show more, change the method to post, and for request body, instead of JSON, click on file, and then choose the payload that we created. So choose variables, and then payload. So one more thing is the headers we need to set. So as you can see here, we have headers. So let's add the same headers. There are 2 headers. There's one content type is called, so make sure you spell it correctly and all capital letters. And then the next one is application JSON as the value. Make sure you have no question marks. And then the next key is authorization, and the value would be bearer, like that. And then here you need to write your OpenAI API key, and you can get that from OpenAI. I'm gonna put mine, and it's there, it's full, but it just doesn't show it here. Okay, so I think we are good so far. Let's test this. So if you want to test something, you can use an alert to show, basically to debug. I'm gonna add it all the way down, and instead of this, I'm gonna delete that, insert variable, and I want the content of URL. Okay, that's good. Let's run this. Let's see how it does. So it opens my camera. My camera is blocked, so it's all black now. I'm just gonna take the image and click on use photo, and it's asking me if I want this shortcut to send the image to my browser or to OpenAI ultimately. I'm going to click on allow, always allow. And now the model is processing the image. So as you can see, it's a JSON file back. And if you look closely inside choices, messages, content, here's the description. The image appears to be completely black. There might be a very faint variation in the darkness and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if you got this, if you got some sort of response from OpenAI, it's all good to go. And we're gonna just basically extract this text from now on. You can see the contents here again. The next thing is I want to save this whatever response is this as a variable. So I'm going to search for set variable, add it here. I can delete this one, show alert. I don't need to show alert anymore. I'm going to say response. Bear in mind that sometimes your API requests would fail, so you need to handle that case differently if it fails. So the content of URL is set to responses or response, and then we're going to do a few things here. So in the response, we need to there's a choices key in the response. So I'm gonna do get variable, get dictionary value, sorry. I'm gonna drag that down. So response is a dictionary, and we are gonna get our values from response. Variable response. Okay, we are looking for a key called choices. Okay, and then choices is a list. We want the first item, so let's say get first item from list. Gonna click that. So get the first item from this dictionary value. That's right, so it's connected to this. And then we want another get value from dictionary, get dictionary value, and this time we are gonna look for message in this first item. So message, and then finally we need another get dictionary value, and this time we are gonna look for content. Okay, and then we can save this as result. So set variable, we're gonna call it result. Okay, and you could now do whatever you want with this result. The way I did it, I said, so I put the if condition. So if result has any value, I'm gonna show it. So show alert, and make sure it's inside the if condition, and delete this, right click, insert variable, and the variable is result. Otherwise, if something goes wrong, I want to do the same, but I'm going to show an alert, but not of the result, because that could not exist. I'm going to delete this one, clear, and instead I'm going to show the response, which is the variable set up here. So this is response, whatever we get from the API, which could contain some errors or it doesn't work well, whereas result is the actual result that we are looking for. Okay, and if we run this, It's gonna ask me to take a photo because my camera is blocked now, it's all black, so I'm just gonna use it. Use photo, and it's at this stage now sending the image to OpenAI. It's done all the steps, and as you can see, this is the show alert step, and this is the response we're getting from OpenAI. That it clearly identified that the image appears to be completely black with no distinguishable features and blah blah blah. And you can take this step further. You can make this speak. You can play with the prompt. You could choose different data sources or image sources for your shortcut, but this is the very basic. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed it.